Good morning. Good morning. If you can hear me, drop it in the chat. Let me know that you can hear me. I'll give it just one or two more minutes. Give people to join in here. Thank you, Meg, for letting me know. Joining in from work. All right. Let's give it one more minute and we'll get started here. We will see if Teddy ends up waking up in the middle of this, so he might be making a surprise appearance. You never know with Teddy. All right, we will go ahead and get started. So, good morning, Vessel Church family. I pray everyone is doing well this morning, and whether you're in your living room, on your way to work, or you're already at work, thank you so much for joining us on this ridiculously chilly morning here in Baton Rouge. We will be doing this devotion every Tuesday at 7 a.m. during our 21 days of consecration. We have prayer tomorrow morning from 6 to 8 a.m. and then Thursday evening from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the church. Gentry Bailey and the music team will be leading worship alongside guided prayer. Don't want to miss that. Please come out and join us. So I hope to see you tomorrow morning from 6 to 8. And then Thursday from 6:30 to 8 p.m. at the church for music and a live worship and guided prayer. Today, we're on day 2 of our corporate fast, giving up a personal vice. That's not something random. It's not something easy. Something that has had more influence over your attention than it should. As I prayed about what to share this morning, I kept coming back to this one simple line. What you give your attention to is what you give authority to. What you give your attention to is what you give authority to. This week, we're giving God our first access again. But the deeper question is this: can this become a lifestyle, not just a fast? I was watching an interview recently with a woman who is extremely successful. She's well established, disciplined, strategic. By any external measure, she's won. She was interviewing Tony Robbins, and she made a very honest admission. She essentially said, I'm highly disciplined, and discipline is what got me here. But even with strategy and systems and discipline, I still fall. I still fail at times. I still have moments of weakness. And Tony sat there and he listened, and then he said something simple but piercing. He said, you need stronger reasons. Your reasons aren't strong enough to follow through. Hmm. Then he added, never leave the sight of making a decision without committing to something that will force you to follow through. Here's why that hit me. If discipline alone were enough, successful people would never fail. If strategy alone were enough, self control would never fail. But discipline collapses when the reason isn't strong enough. This principle is true in life, and it's absolutely true spiritually. Many people don't drift from Jesus because they're rebellious. They drift because their why was never deep enough. They followed him because it was familiar, expected, inherited, culturally reinforced. All noble reasons, but it's not strong enough when the pressure hits. When your disciplines are challenged, when comfort is removed, when obedience costs something, you need a reason that doesn't collapse under weight. You need something undeniable to grab onto. So let me ask you plainly this morning, why do you follow Jesus? What are you actually striving for in your relationship with him? What do you want from him? Maybe you were taught following Jesus was the right thing to do. Maybe you heard it in a sermon. Maybe it was passed down from a grandmother or a parent. Those are noble reasons, but I am here to tell you this morning they are not enough. When comfort is removed, when life gets heavy, you need something undeniable to grab onto. You need a why that gives you instant stability. When everything familiar gets stripped away, when following Jesus costs more than it gives, the real question isn't, do I believe? The real question is, or it should be, where else would I go? And that question isn't new. It's the exact moment we see in John chapter 6. Let me show you. Let's take a look at what it looks like when someone's reason, when somebody's why is finally strong enough. We find in John chapter 6, verse 66. It says, from that time, many of his disciples turned back. And we find it here in John 6. After Jesus finishes teaching, scriptures say many were offended, not just outsiders or skeptics, his own disciples, the ones that went with him and followed him from city to city and tried to reflect after him. It says, from that time, many of his disciples turned back and no longer walked with him. And then Jesus turns to his 12, his 12 most devoted, and he asks, do you want to go away as well? Notice this, Jesus doesn't beg them. He doesn't pressure them. He doesn't manipulate them. Jesus is not a dictator. He will never force himself on you. He always allows free will in this relationship. And then we see Peter. Peter responds and he says, Lord, to whom shall we go? Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. We have believed and have come to know that you are the Holy One of God. Peter is saying, if I don't follow you, who else is there? If I don't give you authority, then who or what will I give it to? This is intentional authority. But here's the danger. It's not the authority we give intentionally that usually pulls us away from Jesus. It's the authority we give unintentionally. Who really has authority? We rarely think about who holds authority in our life until we're exhausted or overwhelmed or desperate. So reflect with me for a moment. When life's unscheduled problems hit, when you're mentally, physically, and emotionally drained, where do you turn? Alcohol, drugs or prescriptions, unhealthy relationships, social media, comfort at all cost, financial fear, control, past pain or trauma? Which of these have been given authority in your life? I was at one of my listings this past Friday and I stepped onto the porch to leave, and suddenly a tsunami came from the sky, poured out of the heavens. Sideways rain, howling wind, no escape. No matter how far back into the porch I went, the storm still hit me. Doesn't that feel like life sometimes? No matter where you go, no matter where you hide, that old sideways rain still finds you. And in desperation mode, we turn to familiar comforts and easy distractions. And yes, they give brief relief, but the storm doesn't stop. It was in that moment I realized, hey, I don't need to stand here and endure it. I need to step back into the house. But how often do we stand in the storm instead of stepping into the eternal words of protection Jesus has already given us? Why not say in that moment, Lord, where else would I go? And oh, he is worthy of authority. Jesus said, all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. He declares total authority. He defines reality. He reigns forever. So give him the opportunity to strengthen your why. Let his words reign in your house. Let his peace govern your decisions. Let his authority rest over your family. The second reason to strengthen your why comes from the Apostle Paul. I love the story of Apostle Paul. See, Paul didn't keep going because of emotional hype. He didn't stay out of blind loyalty. He wasn't out there grinding like David Goggins to prove toughness. Paul stayed because he met Jesus. On the road to Damascus, his life was interrupted, his identity collapsed, but his world, when it was rebuilt around Christ. And that encounter became his non-negotiable. It became his why. If you look through Paul's letters, he doesn't necessarily start explaining why he started following Jesus, but he explained so many times why he continued following Jesus after suffering. He was questioned, compared, imprisoned, beaten. Yet he says, therefore, we do not lose heart. Though our outward man is perishing, the inward man is renewed day by day. For our light and momentary affliction is producing us an internal weight of glory, while we do not look to what is seen, but to what is unseen. Paul is saying, I've seen too much to quit. I've seen too much to quit. You don't walk away from what you're convinced is everything. You see, consecration, it's not about proving your devotion. It's about protecting conviction. Distraction dulls conviction. Attention reveals authority. Attention reveals authority. So today, ask yourself, who truly holds authority in my life? And like Peter, declare, Lord, where else would I go? You don't quit what you're convinced is everything. And Jesus is worthy of everything. As we go through this week, reflect on your why. Yes, do this for yourself, do this for your family, do this for your friends, do this because he went to the cross from you. But get it settled in your mind. Because when you're tempted to break the fast, or when you're tempted to drift back to unhealthy vices, whether it's in these 21 days or, we're creating this to be a lifestyle and you're extending it beyond the 21 days, when comfort feels easier than conviction, remember your why. Remember who you've given authority to, and choose again to say, Jesus, you are worthy of authority in my life. Thank y'all for joining this morning. I am praying God protects y'all throughout the day. I hope to see y'all tomorrow morning and Thursday night. So until next time, be blessed, be a vessel. I pray stay safe out there. I pray y'all all stay safe and your day is blessed. See y'all soon. Love y'all.